Hello, students, and welcome to Human Anatomy. My name is Mr. Sanger, and the purpose of this screencast is to tell you a little bit about me, tell you a little bit about the course, and then just kind of walk through Schoology a little bit to help you figure out what resources are available to you and where to find those resources. So, a bit about me. My first year of teaching was 2001, which is kind of convenient because to figure out how long I've been teaching, you just figure out what year the school year is going to end. So this current school year ends, it's 2020, 2021. So that means this will be my 21st year of teaching. Isn't that kind of neat? Um, so I've been doing this for a while, and I've taught general biology, enriched biology, AP biology, general chemistry, enriched chemistry, and human anatomy. Taught a lot of different things. These lovely people here are my adorable children. This is Bryson. This is Addie. It's kind of an old picture. He's in middle school now, and she's in third grade. Wonderful, delightful children. Um, this is my little partner in life. I was divorced maybe 5, 6 years ago, and so now this is dearest Deanna, and she and I have been together for about 5 years now. Lovely, lovely lady. Keeps me on my toes in a good way. That's good. Yes. Some interests. First of all, if you've never been to C&G Smoke and Barbecue at 46 and Nicollet, I highly recommend it. Get the barbecue pork sandwich with coleslaw on top. It's absolutely amazing. Do call ahead because it's not the nicest indoor in dining environment. But yeah, if you're a vegetarian, maybe just you want to. That's not going to work for you. So forget what I just said. But man, that's a good place. That's my place for dinner. And then other than that, I'm a big outdoorsy guy. I love to bike. I love to hike, cross country skiing, paddling. Here I am in all sorts of beautiful places, and I love to find beautiful places and explore them. And you should too. I'll tell you some good places if you want to talk about that. Here's a quick rundown of the semester. We basically are going to be going through system by system. The entire human body, starting with skin, hair, and nails. That's what the integumentary system is. Nervous system, which is your brain, the senses, bones, muscles, respiratory, circulatory systems, digestion, the urinary system, which is your kidney and related organs. Endocrine system, sometimes we don't have time to get, most of the time we don't have time to get through this system, but that's hormones. And then finally, reproductive system. Um, some other things about the course, dissection is a pretty big part of this course. So we dissect sheep brains, cow eyes, and sheep hearts. And then the grand finale is the fetal pig. Now, some of you may be wondering, where do you get all these items? These organs and the fetal pigs are actually byproducts of the food industry. So when sheep or cows or pigs are slaughtered for meat, remember C&G Smoke and Barbecue? Sorry. Then the organs are taken out and given to a company who prepares them for dissection, and then the school purchases those items from them. So I point that out because I think it's important to know that we're not raising animals to be killed for dissection. These animals are being killed for meat, and then these organs are just kind of a byproduct of that. And so those of you who are vegetarians, I applaud that. That's a very healthy life choice, better for the environment, and nicer to animals. But many people are not vegetarian, and as a result, these organs are there. So that's where we're getting those if you're interested where these things come from. Mannequins are another part of this. So this every year people are like, you spelled that wrong. And actually this is like a brand name. It's a registered trademark. So I put the little R there. They're these little plastic models, and we use clay to build on those models. And so periodically throughout the semester, we're going to add, the brain, we're going to add the heart, we're going to add muscles, we're going to look at the bones. And these mannequins are just kind of these fun little tools to kind of help us build the anatomy and explore it in kind of a new, interesting way that I think helps people remember it a little bit better. And then at the end, we do hair and hat day, and we decorate them and have some fun with it. There's also an independent research project, and there's a lot of information on Schoology about this, but basically, at various points throughout the semester, students are going to be doing like 5-minute presentations where they tell us about some interesting aspect about the topic we're studying. So, for example, a lot of people do diseases or conditions. So after we learn about the nervous system, I'll teach you about the brain, how your nerves function, and things like that. And then we'll have a bunch of projects, and maybe one student will say, okay, I'm going to tell the class about multiple sclerosis. And another student might say, okay, I'm going to do Parkinson's disease. And another person might say, okay, I'm kind of interested in artificial limbs and how the brain can communicate with an artificial limb and do some robotic stuff. So, it's pretty wide open and kind of a fun way to sort of dabble and explore lots of different aspects of what we've learned about. So again, more information on that on Schoology, which is right there. The course description, I'm basically going to have you guys read through that virtually. So there's another slideshow which has, or there's links, I'm sorry, from Schoology that has the course description and course policies and things like that. So I encourage you to check that out. What I really want to focus on though is what I call the roadmap to success. How do I navigate the resources available to me in this human anatomy class? Well, let me tell you, children, here we go. Step one, access the study guide to see what you should know and be able to do at the end of each unit. So these study guides are available digitally, and for every single unit, so this is Unit 1, Body Organization, every unit will have these same folders: Notes and Study Guide, Screencasts, Homework, Quizzes, Practice Questions, Activities, Resources, Supplemental Videos, and then this gradebook items is more just an administrative thing for me. You can just ignore that. But this study guide is a very important document, and the first thing you'll find on that study guide is a list of objectives. This tells you exactly what you should know and be able to do by the end of the unit. And there's a little spot for self-assessment here for yourself if you'd like to use that. Step two, now that you know what you need to know and be able to do, step two, use the study guide while taking notes. So attached to the study guide is this outline. And what you'll find is if you have this outline out while going through my slideshows, the slideshows follow these outlines almost perfectly. And if they don't, the really type A kids in the room will yell at me. So you'll see a heading on my slideshow that says Vocabulary of Anatomy and Physiology, and then you'll see a heading, Anatomical Terms. And so if you have this outline out when you're taking notes, you can kind of see how ideas relate to each other, which ideas are subtopics of other ones, and which are kind of the main ideas. And it's just kind of a nice way to organize your thinking and sort of see the unit at a glance. And the hope is by the end of the unit, you'll be able to kind of look at this and be like, okay, yep. Use it almost as a checkoff list of, do I understand all this? Note also that the page numbers from your textbook are listed here, which will give you a place to go. If you're a little confused on something, you could check out these pages in your textbook to dig a little bit deeper, help clarify things. Step three, by the way, read the book. So here's a picture of the book, and as I said already, there's page numbers that tell you where those are. You can get more information about those topics. Step four, do the assigned homework with an emphasis on learning the material. And note that these do count for points in this class. So I know in biology you had Schoology quizzes, and I think sometimes in certain years they count for points, other years they don't. But I'm not sure what bio's doing these days. But in this class they do actually count for points. You can find these again, so every unit has the same folders. There's our notes and study guide. So here we have homework, quizzes, and practice questions. And here they are. So there's these quizzes. And as you've seen, you go ahead, you click these choices. You've probably done a Schoology quiz before. And then it immediately gives you feedback on what you got right or what you got wrong. You can do these quizzes as many times as you want. So I'll set a deadline. And as long as you submit that by the deadline, if you don't like your score, you can actually redo it. And I kind of like that because it gives you plenty of practice. So you can review as many times as you want, and it does help your score a little bit. But you may recall if you've read that course description, this only counts as about 5% of your grade. So, redoing them over and over and over isn't going to have a huge impact directly on your grade unless you actually use it as a way to learn the material, because that's ultimately what matters. Step five, use the practice questions to prepare for quizzes and tests and check your answers. So below these Schoology quizzes, there's a link to what are called practice questions. And then note that the answers are there as well. These are a little bit higher level thinking than the Schoology quizzes. The Schoology quizzes, since a computer is grading them, they are restricted to multiple choice, matching, things like that. Here, these are all short answer questions. So here, draw a picture of a neuron, label that picture, list their functions, compare and contrast. These are higher level thinking to make sure you really got it. Now, as I mentioned, the answer key is available, and so I encourage you to use that wisely. these practice questions are never, well, this in the year of online learning, they might be assigned, but typically they're not assigned, and they're not due. Um, and so, these are really for you to practice. So the wise human anatomy student would, get out a blank sheet of paper, take the list of questions, try and write answers out to those and see how you do. Once you've written your answers out, then check the answer key to see how you did. What sometimes I know students do is they simply read the question, read the answer, read the question, read the answer, and after reading each answer say, oh yeah, I knew that. I would really discourage this practice. My analogy for that is it's a bit like watching someone else lift weights. So yeah, if I go to the gym and I watch someone lift a weight, um, sure, I might pick up a little something from watching the technique of that person doing that weightlifting. But if I actually get the weight under me and have to lift it myself, that's really where the most growth comes in. And it's the same with learning. You need to struggle with each question, check your notes, research the answer, construct a response. That's where the learning happens. If you're skipping over that by just going right to the answer, you're not going to do well on the test, and ultimately your grade is going to suffer. So use those answers wisely. I'll point out also this, by the way, this last link, I put printable copies of these Schoology quizzes. So if for whatever reason you're going to be away from the internet for a while, you could just print that off and you'll have it on paper. So use the answer key wisely. Step 6, use Schoology Gradebook to identify strengths and weaknesses. So, I put descriptive categories in my grades. So if you look at this student's performance, oh my gosh, you can see something happened here on this quiz on neurons, right? And so because I use these descriptive categories, it won't just be 1B quiz, it's quiz 1B neurons. So now I know, neurons is a weak area for me. And so, wow, if I go back to Schoology, hey, there's a whole Schoology quiz on neurons. And if I look at those practice questions, there's this whole subheading on neurons. And so now I have these resources that I can go back to review neurons before the test on that topic. There it is. And then finally, access Google Slide presentations and screencasts as needed for review. So the slideshows that I go through in class are available to you to access anytime. So the notes are always there. I'm also have generated screencasts for the entire course. So no matter what, if you're absent, if we have to do some quarantining, social isolation, all the screencasts for the entire semester are done. So you can get all the notes delivered through these screencasts. So sometimes those will be assigned probably, sometimes they'll just be there as a resource. We're just going to kind of play by ear as we go along, but know that those screencasts are there and are a really good resource for you. One final thing, you may be wondering, what can I do to help Mr. Sanger? Well, normally I say, winter is coming, and boy, let's bring in some Kleenex. This year, though, I'm going to put the kibosh on that because if somebody needs a Kleenex, they should not be coming into school. So instead, I'm going to ask for hand sanitizer. The school has not really provided us with a whole lot of hand sanitizer, and I just think that'd be a good thing to have. So I would love it if you'd be willing to donate some hand sanitizer to the classroom, and I'll just keep that out so it's available for all students. So hopefully that gives you a sense, a little bit about the course, a little bit about how to be successful in the course, and I'm looking forward to a great year. Thanks.